why customer service, I mean, the thought was, and that attached cost sheet shows senior resource center and library in there, but no, the plan was we were taking those out, but that we felt like we couldn't take customer service out for that reason.
Okay, what about finance? Cause I remember in the updated memo, it says you put all of Village Hall there.
Mm-hmm. So much of what occurs in the scope of this building is intertwined. And so, and this is.
But I mean, does this cost sheet include under customer service, looking at finance too? The memo said it, but I don't see a cost associated with it. Am I making sense?
That's the original cost sheet with senior resources.
Yeah, is there a different one?
Oh, yeah, because they revised the departments, I don't know.
We don't
I
have
don't
it.
think we have that.
No, they just were lopping off, the cost that came up with
Yeah.
were these two put together, were these two numbers,
Yeah, I'm looking at the one that says 72.
right?
Right, same.
So we just need to know those before I
Mm-hmm.
wanna vote, I wanna know.
Oh, here, modified.
Mhm. And you're young. It's really hot in here. You 30-year-olds don't even talk.
Well,
Talk to
maybe
me, Becky.
you can come back.
Yeah,
Come
we
back
should
next
come-
meeting with
Yeah, or full-
with the costs and.
Yeah, I
But
don't
if-
see the breakdown
But
in here.
next meeting at
It's
committee,
on the, yeah,
And
it's,
then I have one question too.
just say it's a little more, because I'm assuming there's gonna, if they had to do finance as well, and
Well-
village manager's office and.
I mean, $50,000 is a lot of money to spend. I mean, this is what I think, like, what are we realistically gonna get
Mhm.
out of this report in terms of savings? I mean, that's
Well,
gonna
I think
offset
there's-
$50,000.
Oh my gosh, over 10 years, I would hope. I hate doing studies for studies, because I was in government for a long time, so you do studies all the time too, so you understand. If we went with Novak and the way they structured their proposal, I have a very high level of confidence that we can get to better budgetary discussions in the upcoming years. Because we absolutely have always talked about needing information on service delivery and how everything intertwines in order to be able to do anything. So even if we cut one stump cutter, that's 50,000, and just by sharing that service.
Like 70,000.
Whatever, you know what I mean? So where would we find them? If we modified the vacuum service, you would find hundreds of thousands, you know,
But
so.
that's not, but that's not an organizational thing.
No.
It's
That's
service
like a-
delivery,
operation.
it's an
Detailed
operation.
operation.
Which is what,
Yeah, but
that's
that's
what,
what people to
that's what
do.
priority budgeting is, and that's
Um,
what Novak is outlining. They're
Right.
talking about the organization, the services that are provided, what are mandated, what are by state law, by federal law, by, you know, and then they get down to, and what is
So
voluntary based on
we
residence.
know that $200 an
How
hour
do
to
you
tell
do-
us about
Right.
leaf, that we have
Mhm.
options on leaf.
No, I understand
collection.
that, that was my example, I apologize, there's other things.
I also would be.
Sharing services
I mean,
on
I think if we're
something or
gonna go
standing
back to
or, right?
Novak,
Yeah.
I would like to understand too, their comprehensive report is $19,000. And I know that's before they make them, made those changes, but like, are we gonna need 3 or 2 of those then? Like,
Oh, I see.
what is that cost?
Would be lower.
Would it be lower, but we'd have to pay twice? Like, do you know what I mean?
Wouldn't you have
From
to go
looking
back
at-
to all of them?
Looking at their scope of work, I know they don't have a detailed breakdown down
Like this
in this
one.
one, like the first one, but they say it's an assessment of the public works and departments located within Village Hall, which include clerk and customer service, finance, planning, development, court, and the village manager's
Oh,
office.
court, that's huge.
And
that
then
out. Was it the same
I-
19,000?
the cost is a total fixed fee for completion of that scope of work for the 46.
But what's the 19? Do they have it broken out there?
That
Is it the
looks like
same?
it's actually producing a report. That's
Right,
what it looks
but
like.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Did they lower it when they took, when we
It's
took out
not,
municipal
it's
court?
not broken down.
It's not broken down
Okay.
by section, but it is a total fixed fee for completion of that scope at the 46 for.
Oh, okay. So if you took out, I mean, what did you just say that I said was huge?
The court.
Court. Like, I can't imagine doing court at the same time. So if you took that out, the cost has gotta go down.
Where is this map, the second map?
We don't have it.
It's just
It
the
should-
amounts.
It's the last
It
couple
should be-
pages.
yeah, it's the
in
last
back,
page
but
of
there's
that
no
item.
chart. You should get a chart from them.
Yep, right
Oh,
before
yeah.
the chart.
Okay.
I think it, it would be great to have the updated numbers at board, so that if there was gonna be additional dollars above what we allocated, is there any opinions here at committee, it would be good to know your opinions on where we would find those funds? I'm thinking general fund reserve, cause you can do studies out of that, if, I'm not saying the board's voted on it.
I also wanna know how much over,
Just say like, minimum, just, if there was needed funds and you voted for that, where would you want them to come from?
yeah, I mean, that would make sense. But I wanna know how much over, and I wanna understand if we do break it out, is it gonna end up costing us more, than doing it all together?
I guarantee they're gonna say yes.
Of course.
But I think, just to preface that, just as Tyler said about the travel, but if we are looking to do other senior research,
Right.
then that, you know what I mean, if you just pose the question that way, of course. But if we already know or are thinking about going into a second phase, that would be better to ask both
So
ways.
what they're saying is about 50,000, 45,000 for DPW in this building. And then to do senior resource, police, library, I mean, we're looking at like probably 75, 80,000 total in like studying the village organization. I mean, I don't know.
I personally, are you guys talking about doing all buildings? Is that where it's going?
No,
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just saying what the
Okay.
total.
You're saying it's a lot of money.
In the future you're talking about? Yeah, it sounds like it would be what they put in here, court, senior resource center, clerk,
No.
Not senior resource center,
okay.
any function coming
Library?
out from this building.
Yeah. Library and senior resource center would be a different year,
Okay.
would not be this year.
Yeah.
So
I-
that third.
So they're gonna look at combining municipal court with Whitefish Bay or something. I mean, now that's
They could.
something.
They could, I don't know if that's what they would do.
Well, see, that's the
Mhm.
thing, I don't wanna pay them a
Mhm.
lot of money for them to come and say, oh, here's how things work now, and you could change this or that. If they come and say, yeah, here's what you would say, combine it with the Whitefish Bay Municipal Court.
And here's how you do it.
And here's how you do it, that's
Mhm.
meaningful to me.
Mhm.
You know, the other stuff, I don't know.
Well, that discussion's already ongoing, the court system consolidation. Do we need a consultant to come in here to tell us stuff that we already know or are working on? I mean, some of this is like, can't we do some of like utility billing and stuff? We just spent a whole bunch of time on the new water metering
Mhm.
system
Yeah.
and billing. You know, we know best what's going on
Who's
here.
we? Because I don't know best. As
Well,
board voting.
Staff, we got experts, we can bring in, I don't know if we need to like, what they're gonna tell us, we've looked at, we've looked at planning multiple ways. Some of this we can do ourselves, or maybe bring in experts, but I don't, I view this.
I do like I do feel there is value in what Rebecca said about the utility, because I truly don't, when I vote, I have no idea how that operates. And so if there was, according to our expert staff, if there is a thought that there can become more efficient in that factor, now that we have some AIM software and whatever we just adopted, that would be good to know, because they do
Well,
overlap
but they could do
DPW.
DPW and parts of clerk and finance that have to do with utility
Yeah,
billing
that would
without
be fine.
doing the whole
Mhm.
everything.
I agree with you.
I mean, I'm a little hesitant
Mhm.
to spend big sums of money,
I'm with you.
you know, unless I have the feeling that there's gonna be some payoff, you know?
I think courts would be great to look at. I don't know
Me
much about
too.
court system either. Here, municipal court, I'm not that familiar with, and maybe in the past, before I arrived. But for now, I do think there is a benefit of keeping the utility function in the DPW study, since it's such a big thing that they do, and that's probably gonna cross over a little bit.
Yeah, I think we need to move on now.
Mhm.
Yeah, we need to look.
So is there a motion?
Yeah, we need to.
What did we come down with?
Move
We
it
all
to full
agree we
board
don't want
with-
to spend a lot of money, but what does that mean?
I think, if I
So-
may, move it to full board, so your motion would be to move it to full board, with the expectation staff comes back, with updated costs. Cost breakout, is that right?
But do we move for Novak? Is that just doing
I would.
DPW for Novak?
We're kind of rely on, after listening to what we discussed, who you would go with, and, yeah, I like the idea of DPW and the utilities, because the utility billing's gonna be
Yeah.
changing.
Mm-hmm.
The other things, like parking's gonna be totally different
Yeah.
in a year, so I spend a lot of time on the
Yeah.
clerk
Valid
stuff,
point.
so,
Mhm.
and I would just go back to Novak and ask him to give detailed breakout and have the discussion on what if next year, get some pricing ideas.
So do you want the scope of what, the revised scope of work broken out by area, or do you just want them to address public works?
Both, because that's by area, correct?
So,
So,
I think if they could do it by area.
Oh, I
then
see what you're
we
saying,
can
'cause
kind of
utility
do
is
an
not by
all-credit
area?
kind of decision.
Yeah.
We need them to give us a cost for public works
Yeah.
and utility billing.
Right.
And just that.
Yeah.
I would, but to Jessica's, to Trustee Carpenter's point, also the travel, because
And their
of course it's
report.
gonna be less efficient, and so it's gonna be a little bit higher cost if they do less of a scope. But I think that, so they have to address that, but you're right, if you just break it out by group, we're not gonna be able to have that conversation again, because we need it in utility in that process.
And I would wanna know too, in that chart where they break it out by, like their comprehensive report, is there gonna be, how would that get
Yes.
broken out? Is that gonna be significantly less expensive for that, for smaller sections? I just wanna make sure that that's what will happen.
So I think Trustee Amenta kinda nailed it, which was, tell me if I'm paraphrasing right, DPW and the utility function.
Mm-hmm.
And then to go with Trustee Carpenter, travel, associated, and comprehensive report.
Mhm.
Those are the components, is there anything else, Trustee Meyer?
Who's the motion?
Mm.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it, we'll know. What
Do you
is,
have
what
the
is the
motion?
I have the motion, I just
Okay.
need who made it and who seconded it.
Are we
I'll
ready
read
to
it.
send it out of committee, or does the committee wanna look
We
back
gotta
at
get
it?
started.
Oh, good question.
We're asking for kind of a
Mhm.
major shift in what they.
I mean, can we have it come back with that information and then go to full
Yeah.
board?
I don't see why not.
Is there any, I'm
Which
only
side
asking
is it
because, when I read it, it sounded like in order to be ready for 2021 budget season, that there was a time constraint, but I don't know if that's true.
But we'd need to move on
The
February
same.
3rd. You don't have more time.
And it
Just
can't go from
logistically.
committee to the board?
It could, if this is what, this group would like.
Like, on the
We
same day, or you
traditionally
may-
haven't been doing that. If something comes from standing committee, it doesn't hit until a
Mhm.
following agenda. That's what's been asked.
Does the motion say the committee would be recommending Novak?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so,
No, I had, to come back with an updated cost breakdown from Novak with studying DPW, including the utility functions at Village Hall.
but narrowing it to them, is that correct? Only because at that point, I understand it's a shift, but we're just breaking out costs, everybody on that table is gonna have a different opinion. So I don't know what the benefit is to delay, like to bring it here, except to recommend where the funding would come from, I guess. Once it gets to the board, we're gonna have the same, we just have that same conversation about costs, I'm pretty sure.
So if you were just focused on public works, the cost would come down,
Right.
my
It's
understanding.
just
So
gonna
I
be-
would be asking for them to
Where are we
just
gonna get it
break
from?
out the cost for public works and utilities, and to identify within that, how much is for the comprehensive report, and how much would be for the travel associated.
Right,
Did I hear that correctly?
right,
And then it's an up and down vote, and then where to get the funds, if the vote was yes.
yeah. A part of this could be what they come back, use your judgment on what they come back with. And if you're comfortable that, it probably can just come to committee and then to the board at the next meeting, do that. But if you think there's gonna be some, that isn't coming back as you thought, or then maybe bring it to the
Yeah.
committee, see what you get back.
Where are they from again, Novak?
I've heard
They
that
have
before.
people all
Who is
over.
Julia
I think the
Novak?
person that we were talking to on the phone
She was from here.
was
I think she was in Denver.
yeah.
Cincinnati, Ohio, is
I
where
mean,
they
we
are.
gotta,
Did
I
she
mean,
come from here?
this is a relatively, I think we also have to think about the travel cost in relation to the overall size of the study. It's a relatively small study and. you know what, I mean, it's a small, it's
So
not
you
that
wanna
big of a
keep the other
job,
one on
and
the-
it's like, why are we paying someone to come from Colorado to do this? If we're gonna use this, if we're gonna use Novak for other departments, in the future, it might make sense, but I'll just throw that out there.
There's only two choices to, if we just, unless you wanna throw the other firms back on the table, either we're gonna,
Ohio.
right, I mean, we could make, either the only way to cut the cost of travel would be to incorporate more, you know what I mean, like you have a bigger scope, which would justify more, that same travel budget, correct? So, or we can.
I mean, I think, I would like it, I'm not gonna be here next meeting, I'm out of town, so I mean, so I'll just shut up.
Oh, come on, that's not.
Come on, I'm just
yeah,
saying, I
we gotta
mean,
get
since
moving.
Lee is local,
Mm-hmm.
so like, I mean, just the travel is, if we're talking about like a $35,000 study, but $7,000 of
Right.
travel, you know,
Travel
versus Lee
percentage.
doesn't have to travel, so.
Right.
It's an excellent point.
He had no
Yeah.
travel?
He's semi-local.
Yeah,
I'm just
He
saying
lives
there's
in
no
Brooklyn.
cost.
Bill, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Lee's in
yeah,
Brooklyn,
so,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
right, to
But
your
he
point.
had other people.
So I think,
Right, there are other
I
people involved
just
in it
would,
as well.
I
So
just
I'm
would
just saying,
like,
did
I
that
just
with your
would,
travel?
if we're gonna scale it back and do a smaller study, I think we should consider that travel aspect again
Mhm.
before making a definite recommendation.
Would it be appropriate to go back to GovHR also
Yeah,
to
I
scale
think so.
back and see
Yeah,
what,
we'll see what they would,
see like more
Go back.
focused on DPW?
I think you have to, don't you?
Yeah, I would,
just say,
Might
yeah,
be.
the eight, that's
Right,
the
like, how would that change?
proposal.
I prefer not to, but we could do that.
Should we?
There was a
we don't have to-
motion and a second, and I heard a friendly amendment to that motion.